Hello, my wisdomers. How are we? I'm back. It's Monday morning. I think I put my Bluetooth on or something. Just let me check my headphones if they're connected. Technical difficulties right now. Oh no. It's Monday morning. There we go. I think that's better. Yeah, just did my meditation practice right now. Yeah, went for a hike on the weekend. Did about 8. I think I did a hit about 8. Let me check the stats. Right now. Profile stats. Yeah, I think I did about 9Ks or so. It was only a small track, but it was a great little day out to get out of the house, Right now, I just finished my morning meditation. And I just feel spiritually blessed. Really spiritually blessed at the moment. I just feel like I want to live my life to the best of my abilities. Yesterday I did a very good chakra practice to awaken my intuition. And basically, it looks like we've got the first guest. Here we go. Let's see if this works. Alright, anytime. Oh, hi Malcolm.
What's up, buddy, old pal?
How are you?
I'm breathing, man. I'm breathing. I can't complain. I'm getting
Nice
my full respirations in.
Anyway, Microsoft is purchasing Activision. Did you know that?
Yes, that was an acquisition for $68.7 billion.
Shit, that's a lot of money. Now that Microsoft is going to look at doing the whole streaming of video games like Netflix, like you pay $12 a month. But where's PlayStation in this?
The best way to answer that is PlayStation is silent in this, because the way PlayStation works as a conglomerate, as a company, especially considering with all the productions that they do, because they have they work under Sony Productions. They're staying as least involved until they find a deal that works in their benefit, because they have their practices and what they do. And so does Microsoft. Microsoft is more public with it. They don't care about making a $68.7 billion bill. Kind of an acquisition for a company. And it seems like they actually got it for a discount for what it's actually truly worth. But that's beside it. Yeah.
See, Malcolm, I've always been a PlayStation person all my life. I tried to play Xbox, but I was just too confused with the controls, and it was pissing me off when I was playing Call of Duty. But I play Call of Duty Mobile, but after a few, like playing Black Ops, Modern Warfare, I was just sort of over it. Now, that's a lot of money to be buying Call of Duty.
Yes, and that doesn't count the in-game add-ons in addition to that of anything else that you would foresee yourself plowing into a game. Like, you ever play GTA 5?
Yes, that was fun.
I love the shark cards they have.
Yeah, I love Trevor, and I was running around in my undies as Trevor.
That's hilarious, dude.
And slippers. I was just running around being stupid in it. Yeah, GTA 5, God, that sold like 1 million copies on the first day.
Yes, it was one of the biggest acquisitions, and what they did was the hype campaign. They said that it was going to release, it wasn't going to release, and then they said that it was going to release again, and I've come to find out that in modern advertising, that is what actually lures in a newer kind of audience as well, which is what's really interesting. But that's besides this particular topic. But no, they brought in a bunch on opening day, so much that they sold out so much, like the PlayStation 5s did when they first released. Like, even the people that pre-ordered couldn't even get that bad boy. Now that was terrorizing. There were few pullbacks, but that's once again, yeah. GTA.
See, there was scalpers who were just overpricing the PlayStation 5 as well, and were trying to sell the PlayStation 5 for a ridiculous amount of money, which is highly illegal.
They did, and they accomplished that. You can thank eBay for that.
Oh my god. Are you serious? So people get away with that shit?
Well, here's how it works. If you have a product, by the way, I'm also eating a multigrain bar, so if you hear that, that's why. But if you have a product, once again, I think we've had this discussion before. The idea of scarcity is what could drive price. And because there wasn't enough of something out of that particular product, which at the time was the PS5, there are always and forever will be opportunists that go, okay, well, since there's going to be sold out at Best Buy, so on and so forth, I will market it in my area, but I will make a bonus off of that. And it's not completely illegal because you are your own a private seller, so you are bound to certain laws that constitute that. Is it a ripoff? Yes, it's a ripoff, but it's not illegal in a particular sense. But no, there were opportunists. My friend did that several times. He bought like 5 of them bad boys on pre-order, and he sold them way above market value.
Shit. Because the Australian government tried to crack down on that too, Malcolm, called scalping. They tried to stop it.
It's because they're making money. You see, when you sell something above what its normal price is, people like PlayStation would get mad because they're like, well, that's not the original retail price. So how is it that they get to benefit that? There were people that were reselling their systems, which, by the way, once again, is not illegal. So don't feel like you're breaking the law. But don't scam those people. Now that's when it becomes illegal, is when those people get scammed, because I know of a few people that have sold those systems and promised absolutely nothing in return. They would scam them, and they would drive up to the location, and they wouldn't be there. And that's the worst. So no, there were scammers and there were opportunists. Opportunists actually sold those systems, and they sold them above the retail value. And as long as you promise the product, then that's not illegal.
Yeah, exactly. It gets very complicated. But let's get to the thing about Microsoft. Now, Bill Gates was the founder of Microsoft, right? But he nearly went bankrupt in the 80s over plagiarizing code against Steve Jobs. You can look back in time. Now, it's interesting, Microsoft want to get in the whole video gaming industry, but PlayStation and Sony, they're going to start their whole $12.99 a month subscription.
Their subscription to what exactly?
Video game, online gaming. You know, you can pretty much binge games like Netflix.
Well, here's how I think it. Here's in my mind. I have a very creative mind. Here's what I think happened in my mind. Okay, so bear with me. These company members, they socialize at events. They go to private events. They go to public events. It would not surprise me that amongst these individuals, they floated the idea, well, I want to buy this company. I want to buy that. And I think it's all about who's the fastest bidder. So yes, Microsoft will probably bid for something and buy it. But then there are smaller companies, which is because he's a genius behind the Microsoft, is that he will market with smaller businesses or smaller companies, video game designer companies, anything of the sort in the acquisition, and he will provide to them an atmosphere in which they can use for their benefit, so everyone's benefiting. So that way, when the rich man makes his money, other people can make their money as well. Now, that's just what I conjured up in my head. It wouldn't surprise me if these smaller companies took the bite when it came to that. But that was going to happen inevitably because you have things like the metaverse becoming more prominent. So now it's like these bigger video game companies are in competition with other companies trying to acquire as much as they can so they can control this space and they have domain over it, so that when there's a greater adoption to the metaverse, that people already have that material catered to them but by other companies.
What's a metaverse?
Metaverse is it's like, think of it like Sims, but like you're online. And you have users,
Gotcha.
you have other users. Think of it like an online video game world where you can meet up with people online and have fun.
That's already going on.
Yeah, no, Metaverse has been around for about almost a decade at this point. It's just been in constant development. But you see it augmented through video games, of course. Yep.
See, like, on PlayStation is charging you a yearly membership to play online. They never used to do that. Now, Microsoft, you always had to pay to play online. Is that a marketing thing?
Well, it's always going to be a marketing thing. It's all about who's providing the product. And also, so that other companies can save on scarcity of resources. Because once again, when you have that supply and that demand, of course, there has to be a middleman of some sort. So where these fees could come from is about the fact that whatever network you're using or purchasing that from, they require some sort of an associated fee with that transaction.
What's a middleman for the audience?
Middleman would be like a bank or an entity between that, or perhaps in this particular instance, who gets to make the money who gets to make a vast majority of the money from that transaction. Like, for instance, Apple has in-game purchases, but they partner with smaller companies, so that company makes money, but also Apple is making money off a company making money. It's yeah.
So it's like a mafia thing. The middleman takes their cut, pretty much.
In a sense, yes.
Is that illegal?
No, it's all bound by our arbitrary agreements and non-disclosure agreements. So of course, executing this it's legal. It's monitored by banks, central banks, to be specific.
The problem with the middleman is, aren't they making a profit out of you?
Are you referring to just people that are collecting off of the interest of these transactions, like the smaller banks?
Yeah.
Well, assumingly so, they make something from it. I highly doubt that in the pot of who makes what, because they all work under the FDIC and the Federal Reserve. Who makes more money of what? That's all preset, though. So I'm sure they're in a position where they will benefit off the transaction nonetheless.
Yeah. Shit. Like, there was a game I enjoyed playing called Ghost Recon Wildlands. That was fun. I feel like Call of Duty's just gotten dry. Like, it's just the same thing. Like, they always come out with a game about World War II.
Oh man, yeah, they do.
And it just gets boring.
Well, here's the thing. When you have a game, you have a game developer. When you have a game developer, you have people that work on the storylines, the campaigns of these games. These are sometimes real show movie writers. So these thoughts that come from these game writers that write games, it wouldn't surprise me if some of these people that write for these games are historians and they like to talk about history as a means to engulf people and help them understand and conceptualize what could have happened back then. Because I will say, these storylines are pretty riveting. And it's like they're painting the past for young people that are into games. And it's helping evolutionize. Because if the world knows that they can reach to somebody through a video game, they will make the best storyline possible, which it's been shown through scientific studies. So like I can understand where you're coming from, Stephen. And it is annoying how it's been on the constant trend of old world wars. But there were a lot of them. So I mean, it is important to highlight them. I won't discount that.
The Battlefield 3 was quite good. That had a lot of strategy in it. Like, I always found Battlefield was harder than Call of Duty.
I think it's because I think they portray because I'm speaking from a military standpoint. I'm in the military. I feel like these games display what it would be like if you were working under that specific branch in the military. Because from the type of strategy that I've seen depicted in Battlefield games, from that of Call of Duty games, it's just interesting. because the strategy is different, and I will admire that. Yeah, you're very observant, Stephen. And
You remember Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the first Modern Warfare that came out. You got to play as the SAS. You got to play these cool missions, and then they remastered it. That was awesome.
Remastering, when it comes to the video games, is either a good thing or a bad thing, because sometimes they will omit things, take things away, and sometimes they will add things and make it way better.
I know they do it for sound quality too. They did it for the first Modern Warfare. I used to play the PlayStation 3. I remember. So I played all these games like Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty. So if Microsoft end up purchasing Activision, Microsoft is going to own Call of Duty. Is that right?
That and its subsidiaries. You are correct.
So
any other video game companies under Activision, which they have tons of subsidiaries, will either at that point say, "Oh God, Microsoft's going to own us. I don't want to do this," or they will continue to ride the ride and benefit off of the fact that you've been purchased by a bigger asset. But what were you about to say?
Now, will Call of Duty be available on PlayStation still or not? Or is it going to be an Xbox thing?
That's not for me to decide, unfortunately. So I couldn't tell you. But I would say, though, considering that a vast majority of Microsoft's holdings are into that now, it wouldn't surprise me that they feature it as an exclusive title of some sort.
Shit. Wow.
I like your natural reactions, man. They're very off-putting, but I didn't expect them.
It surprised me because I read this article yesterday in the Sydney Morning Herald about the CEO. Like 68 billion. Is it 68 billion?
Yeah, 68 billion. 68.3 billion to be specific. Or
Jesus Christ.
Or 0.7. It's either 0.3, 0.7. I'm getting my numbers wrong somewhere. But anyways.
So who evaluates these companies?
Well, the accounting department.
Oh, I thought they'd just come up with a price. Oh, you can
No. God, no. No, when it comes to acquiring a business, you want to look at a business from all aspects. I mean, if they're worth purchasable, what are their debt? What is their debt versus their loss? Meaning, how much do they owe other banks for their debt? Are they in debt? Are they undergoing bankruptcy? Business owners actually, or just conglomerates or just media corporations that are acquiring smaller businesses, they like to look into those parameters of a business so they can find some form of a number that best fits both their assets, what they hold, and what they're worth. And that way they can find a tentative price. And from what it seems, Activision, in this particular instance, is undervalued from the 68 billion. I feel like they took a loss, but I guess they didn't care because the titles that they've made alone worth well more of its valuation, which made me think like Activision, I don't think they bought it completely out. Microsoft speaking specifically, I just only assume there's going to be something that comes from this kind of an acquisition, stipulations of the sorts.
Is there going to be another Grand Theft Auto coming out?
You're interviewing me like I work for Rockstar North, man.
Because I love that game.
It is a great game, but I honestly couldn't answer that. I hope, because it's been about what? It's I can almost put a decade on when Grand Theft Auto 5 was released.
In Grand Theft Auto 5, you couldn't go in the hospital. You could do that in Grand Theft Auto 4.
Actually, let me quote that. Yeah, you could. I'm going to fact check myself. When did Grand Theft Auto 5 release? Because now you got my brain working, Steven. Look what you did. GTA. So GTA 5 was released. Oh yeah, I'm old. It was released on September 17th, 2013. Yeah. And since then, it's been under several different remasters by different companies and so on and so forth. But to answer your question, it was believable that GTA, because since they have GTA 3 on like your mobile devices, that the problem is that the marketing places like Apple has not wanted, or I guess Rockstar, there's been a little bit of animosity as far as how the logistics would go if Rockstar North put another title onto the App Store. I guess they felt like they weren't making anything from it. There's so much that goes into that kind of a process. So yeah, that's that in a nutshell.
Yeah, like because Grand Theft Auto 5 is on the PlayStation 4 and the 5 at the same time, as well as the 3.
Yeah, but I think they actually shut down the servers for the older systems, for the more first gen, so like the PS4, and the Xbox. They shut down the online service, to be specific.
So what do you play, Malcolm? You Xbox or Sony?
Well, I don't have a game system because I don't really play game systems that often. I kind of, whenever I do, I use my brother's, but I prefer Sony over Xbox. But I'm friendly to both operating systems. They're both easy to use. It's just I've been using Sony like all my life. I used to have the PSP, man.
Yeah, what happened to the PSPs? Those were good.
That's the thing, is that the PSPs were too good for their time. They were ahead of their time. And because people weren't ready for it yet, or at least exposed to that kind of craftsmanship, it just didn't seem like it was going to go. And then eventually people stopped making games for the PSP, because they would have to suppress their video game quality. And when one thing to understand is that when you work for a video game company, you have to appeal to all title bases. So at the time when the PSP came out, it was ahead of its time, but it didn't seem like a lot of game companies wanted to make games that supported that particular game system. And then eventually came to the point in which PlayStation decided to try to make another PSP, which was the PSP. I believe they made like the PSP Portable, the PSP some shit. It doesn't matter. The point is that they made several systems in the attempt to try to appeal, to make it more convenient. So now when the PS4 came out, the PSP, they tried to re-innovate that so that it was compatible with that, so that way you could have like on the air, off the air games. So like you could get a game that was PSP portable so that you can get up and leave, like the Nintendo Wii, kind of a similar concept, but that was a failed project for them as well, and it didn't go so well. So now they were like, you know what, we should scrap it.
You look at your Android phone and your iPhone is pretty much just become another video game. You got Call of Duty. I know they took Fortnite off the App Store. That was popular. I remember a lot of people were streaming Fortnite. Did you get into Fortnite?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that was popular. Like Twitch, people will stream their video games on Twitch. Yeah, PSP, man, I remember those things. I wish they bring them back.
Well, I wouldn't foresee them not coming back with a better concept in the future, considering that the Wii is revamping up, and I guess mobile operating systems. Here's the thing: is that it's not. It's all about what's hot in the market right now, and when that market trend eventually comes back, they will come back better than ever. And at the time, and I personally believe mobile operating systems, like these video games, like the Nintendo Wii, the PSP, the Nintendo DS, to say the least. Everyone had one. I had one. When that bad boy came out, my friends and I were using like the chat little. It was like a little game space chat, so we would always chat. We'd all be in our own individual rooms, and we would chat on that and log in at night and talk crap about anything. But that's besides the point. They're just not popular right now, and that's just where the market is. And when they do become popular, I have no doubt in my mind that if it's not the PSP, that PlayStation will innovate some form of a mobile system, a game system, if not already. But like you said, phones are becoming more popular, man. Like them graphics for that Call of Duty game, them graphics is pretty darn good. Like I was convinced.
Now, let's talk about EA Sports. Tiger Woods, he had those golf games for EA, but they stopped making them. They got replaced by 2K, but I like EA Sports better.
There's a time for everything, especially when it comes to the video game industry. And EA Sports only made a handful of games, and I am under the assumption that with the pandemic, it was a lot more harder for these video game companies to sustain the working operations that they had previously. And eventually, you, of course, had those that just felt more like freelancing and working for several different businesses as well. So now you have these people that work for these video game companies freelancing and hopping on different projects creating just a little bit of confusion for the work schedule for the big guys there trying to push out a game. So there's been games that have been halted from production, which have hurt other companies and businesses, and they have an interesting reputation as a business. So I only imagine that in the next few years, they're going to find different acquisition avenues.
Nah, because those were good games. That's what made golf entertaining, Malcolm, was Tiger Woods. Now it's not entertainment anymore.
I have no doubts. I mean,
Because
your
2K
feelings are valid.
games is weird. I don't like 2K. It's just weird.
Weird. Yeah, you can say that. They made another game spinoff close to 2K. It was called NBA Live. It was like another 2K. So I understand exactly what you mean.
Like UFC is with EA Sports. Make the UFC game. Yeah. I don't know what's going on with 2K.
You and I both are at a loss here for this specific topic.
You know. But Microsoft has, God, what's next for Microsoft? What is next? Like Halo. You remember Halo? That's only an Xbox game.
Mm-hmm.
How come Sony don't purchase, like, buy them out? So we can use it on Sony.
That's a good question. Perhaps it's something that deals with patents.
Sony's got a lot of money, Malcolm. A lot of money.
I feel like right now, video games isn't Sony's biggest focus because they have, like you said, so much money. So, in my opinion, Sony makes both great mobile devices, TVs, and also they make pretty darn good movies. Like The Interview, it was a Sony. If you've ever seen The Interview, that movie was hilarious. And it was actually on the brink of being cut from production because that it would have offended, and it actually did offend the leader of North Korea. But that movie was very controversial. So they cut it from theaters, and yet the movie still made it, and it hit box office numbers. But that's besides the point. Sony doesn't seem to be focusing on their video games kind of thing. So I guess they're letting a lot of this crap right now. Like you asked way earlier in this talk, where the heck is Sony? I think Sony's staying pretty quiet right now. They don't care.
Now, as a Sony person yourself, how do you feel about Microsoft buying out Activision?
Just because they bought Activision doesn't mean that Sony bought all of Activision's loyal community base, and also the video game subsidiary companies that worked under Activision as well. Now, what'll happen is that in the midst of an acquisition like this, it'll either be good or it'll be bad for those smaller subsidiary designing companies. And what'll happen is from that will birth them deciding on whether they want to switch their assets or figure out what other company they want to work and make games for. And it happens all the time in this kind of world. It just happens. That's just the nature of the beast. So yes, even despite the fact that Microsoft is acquiring Activision, it doesn't mean that there won't be any other potential opportunities for other acquisitions in the future. Because all it takes nowadays, especially in this industry, is money. Sad as it is.
Oh, yeah. Money is power.
It is influence more than it is power.
Wow. That's it seems like there's a revolution for the video game industry. Like they're trying to compete with Netflix and all that. They're gonna have their own form of Netflix.
I have no doubt. I mean, once again, touching on the metaverse and how much more ubiquitous it will be in the future. It just doesn't play that much of an imperative role in our lives right now. That's why it doesn't matter that much to us.
I remember, I think it was years and years ago, before PlayStation 4, I would always hear rumors of PlayStation 5 or coming out, and look where we are, PlayStation 5.
Yes, innovations will always happen in the future. I mean, that's just how the world drives. Speculation also makes these kind of small things worth appreciating when they come out. Because
Yeah,
when we hear
and
speculation,
PlayStation have gotten into the the augmented reality gaming as well.
oh, they've been in it for a minute.
Is that popular?
Augmented reality?
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering that it's virtually new, dude, look, hold on. Check this out. Augmented reality was actually a new concept that was drafted in. When did it become? Because actually the first augmented reality product was when they started integrating it into phone, and then other applications use it too. Like when you use your Snapchat filters, that's augmented reality
Yeah.
technology processing right then and there on your face. That's augmented reality. Or
Wow.
yeah, man, it's been pretty around for quite some time. So let me see
But
here.
what about Disney when they were creating Toy Story and they got like the 3D? This is going back to the 90s. They were using like pretty advanced technology for the 90s.
The first AR system was ever used was the U.S. Air Force Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in 1992. It says the earliest functional AR systems that provided immersive mixed reality experiences for users were invented in the early 90s, starting with the virtual figure systems developed at the U.S. Air Force's Armstrong Laboratory in 1992, and the experiences were first introduced in entertainment and gaming businesses. Ooh, interesting to know.
Shit. That's
Yeah, man.
amazing stuff.
Yeah, man.
Augmented reality. I think AR is going to be the future of all gaming.
It already is.
Mm-hmm. Hey, here's the thing: people are building these AR robots to replicate a wife or a husband. Did you know that?
You know, I didn't know that, but I will say, it doesn't surprise me.
That's weird.
It is weird. People are weird, man.
And there's like a CEO in San Diego who's trying to build a business out of this.
And if he succeeds, then you'll understand. Like everything in the world, there's a market for everything out there, as it is to say. So,
Yeah, but do you think, like, I don't know, 10, 20 years' time, we'll be seeing robots at a restaurant serving us at McDonald's?
it wouldn't surprise me that they would utilize augmented reality technology to create like a virtual robot that you can eventually, or some form of a virtual depiction that you can interact with. Because by utilizing in Siri and Google, oh man, you get me on a deep topic here. So Google has been working on augmented reality technology for quite some time, and when it comes to them wanting to innovate into their products, they have been working on a system that you can use and it becomes responsive. So it projects some form of a figure, obviously in the shape of a human being in that person's depiction, and it will display the pictures, and it'll be as if you're talking to them, but through an augmented reality. And they're thinking about that being the innovation, a future of drive-thrus, which is kind of scary, but it's really interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
But yes, augmented reality will inevitably be the future. When it comes to broadcasting, when it comes to video gaming, I mean, it's already ubiquitous now in just about any phone or anything that you could buy with a camera. So,
Yeah, I do like augmented reality videos on my YouTube channel on my hashtag shorts. It's fun.
it's fun, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you remember Pokemon Go when that came out?
Yes. Another thing using augmented reality.
Gee, that had so much traffic, but what's happened? It's sort of just died out now.
Well, like trends, like with like with just any challenges, like the cinnamon challenge, you name it. These are little small things that come about, and people use them as opportunity to, meet and greet. And because it became so prominent that people were out here catching Pokemon, people found communal engagement out of that. And when you have things like COVID that hit, so that kind of starts to lack down. Plus, when the servers kept messing up from time to time, so then eventually you'll lose an audience. And plus, at the time, people were making memes and stuff out of it. It's not a trend anymore. Our society moves so fast, and it's just not what's popping.
Mm. Yeah, but again, that was AR technology as well.
Yes, it was.
Wow. That is, yeah. I mean, AR technology goes back to like Hollywood were doing it for years.
Oh, tell me about it.
Jurassic Park.
Yes.
You
Well,
know.
that's more advanced technology, but it's just what's really funny to me, that in movies they will literally depict a whole city being blown up into smithereens or something. I don't understand. I didn't understand at first how they're so good at making it look like something catastrophic happened, but that is a form of, oh man, that's master editing right there. I honestly knew what it was, and I actually just might look into it. But like, obviously, this is not happening in real time, and it's never happened. But they're really good at making a scenario out of nothing, and I think that also deals with green screen technology.
Mm. Yeah, I have a green screen. I picked up a green screen for $30.
Oh, you got it for a bargain.
Yeah, at Audi. I was very happy. My first ever green screen.
I'm gonna
See,
get
I'm
one for
learning.
my videos too. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm learning all the time because I'm trying to do green screen videos for special effects in the background
Uh-huh.
for my YouTube. No, but yeah, the video game industry is like $1 billion industry. There's like investors in Sony and Microsoft.
And it always will be.
Yeah, but you got to think what's the value of return on investment with these companies?
Are you speaking from a stock owner's perspective right now? Or are you asking me as an investor?
As an investor and a stock owner's investor.
Okay. Well, I would have to look into the dividends, and I would see how much. I mean, if it is a dividend stock, I mean, alternatively, these stocks have valuations for what they're worth in the market, but these are already big cap companies. So, with where current market trends are headed, big tech is definitely a worthwhile investment, flat out. Like, for anyone that's thinking about of a potential investment opportunity, I'm telling you right now, tech is where to go, and also crypto as well. Now, I'm not going to sound like a crypto head, but I'm just telling you because in the future, if you pay attention to politics, and you also pay attention to financial news, you can learn a little bit about economics. Just saying. Long story short, is that's where you want to look into investing if you're curious, Stephen. And when you're with what the big name companies you mentioned, they're worthwhile investment. They're what they call growth assets. They are growth stocks. So.
Well, see, I was reading my Raise newsletter, my crypto, because I invest in crypto in Raise, like I was telling you in previous episode. Netflix has fallen down in value because not many people are subscribing. Why?
Do you know
What
why?
happened? Why?
That's actually one of my talks in here. I had to talk about that. Netflix basically rose its prices.
Did they?
Yeah, they rose their prices for their memberships, so now they cost a lot more. Just a little bit more. Like if you're paying for like a $17.99 subscription, I believe it'll be like around like 20 something. It's a pretty much of a price bump, but it's nothing people didn't expect already. And plus, Netflix's they actually didn't beat their earnings quarter for this last fiscal quarter, so you add that on top of people not being happy with them saying they're raising their prices because they actually had a previously good earnings season prior to that, which is what made investors kind of unsure about, like, are they inflating their values of their finances? Are they actually telling people how much they're making? Because here's one interesting statistic, is that with Netflix, the reason why their prices are going up in memberships, and this is just one variable to it, is because they realize a vast majority of the people that have profiles in Netflix are Netflix hoppers. So they don't have to pay for Netflix. If I'm using my friend's Netflix account, why should I pay for one of my own when I can go on my own profile? And they've started to notice that a vast majority, they're losing gradually they're losing their subscription rate because people are starting to use other people who have those profiles, and that's a variable that they actually have to factor in. Same thing with all these streaming companies now, and these newer up-and-coming stream companies. Okay, how many people are we letting on these single accounts, and how many people are we letting on them at the same time, and how much money are we losing knowing that we have people hopping in on different accounts when they should be having one themselves? So,
I subscribed to Disney Plus. I had Netflix a couple of years ago, but I didn't like it.
I understand. I don't blame you. I mean, it's not for everybody. So,
Disney Plus for me, I just pay as I go, so I pay monthly. But for me, if I don't use it, I don't pay. But at least they're not going to try and bombard me. Oh, Stephen, you should watch this show next. Oh, could you recommend this and give a survey for us?
I can understand how frustrating that can be. But that'll always happen, man. That'll always exist. Businesses, that's part of their business model.
See, like streaming, the problem is they're going to gradually increase their price over time.
Undoubtedly.
Like, you notice Netflix, if you want high definition, you got to pay more.
Yeah, now they're charging for the 4K stuff now. They're like, yeah. They're like, well, since we understand that you're probably not using your own account, would you like for the people that are on your account to use high def, or would you like that really cheap version? Don't worry, we'll save you about $2, maybe if that, on taxes. Like
Exactly.
No. Why should I have to pay extra to get just high quality definition television? And they're like, what's even more evil is that with certain smart TVs, if you have a smart TV, like I have a Samsung smart TV, Netflix will automatically detect if you're using a smart TV. So they will provide to you the more expensive option first, as opposed to the cheaper option, because they can read that you have a smart TV. So they're like, okay, well, this guy was smart enough to purchase a smart TV. Let's charge him extra because we're providing it conveniently on a smart TV.
I just buy a high definition cable. That's all I do. Put it in my TV. It looks fine to me.
Yes, but some people want the best of the best.
Oh, this is all marketing shit.
Yeah, basically.
It's like with Spotify and all this, they're saying, oh, yeah, we're going to give you the hi-fi audio. I'm a musician, by the way, and, as being a musician, the last thing I want to listen to is music. That's just marketing tactics.
So are you basically saying that you wouldn't want to be listening to music when specifically?
Just when they say, oh yeah, we're going to provide high quality audio, or Apple Music, we're going to give you lossless audio from mono recordings. That's just all marketing. I know all this stuff.
Oh yes, that is true, because we do. Since you're a compositionist, you understand that there's like so many audio avenues that you can take when it comes to producing music, especially how you want your sounds to project as well. They market this kind of stuff because it says enough to say, and I'll always say there's a market for it. There's a demand for it, especially as these projects continuously push out really great headphones, like a headphone marketing campaign. Apple's about to release their new AirPod 2s or whatever. So of course they're going to market.
Oh God. Yeah.
So of course they're going to market, we have the best lossless audio sound out here in technology. Like, I don't know who their writer is, but Apple has some really great writers. Like, they are so great at wording things.
Yeah.
So they're so good at wording simple things. It makes you think, like, it's just crazy. It's really crazy marketing, man.
Yeah, I use JBL headphones. I got a pair of the
right?
Yeah, I got the Rocks, Dwayne Johnson headphones. They're awesome. But I'm working out.
I almost bought
very good set. Yeah, they're good. Under Armour.
Are you an earbud kind of person, or over the head, over the ears?
I like more over the head, but I got wireless, JBL those inner ear headphones, which are very comfortable. I tried AirPods, but they're so uncomfortable. I feel like they're going to fall out.
And they will. That's part of the design flaw.
Yeah. But going back.
Why do you think they have that campaign? You got to think they do this kind of stuff. Some of these companies do this kind of stuff on purpose. Why in the world where they have and make and produce headphones that are small enough to fall out of your ears, and then put a tracker on it so that you can track where your headphones are. They're like, well, thank you for being a customer with Apple, but we know you're going to be irresponsible with some of your products. So that's why we're going to make sure that they're very inconvenient. So when you lose them, we can charge you extra. It's simple. It's genius. It's ridiculous.
Oh, definitely. Like going back to Netflix, right? Now, if more people are walking away from Netflix, are they going to go broke, or Netflix going to have to like just say, "Oh, fuck it, we'll just reduce our prices"?
Dude, the great thing about Netflix and the great thing about the fact that they know what's happening in the economy, because right now, here's what's happening as to why Netflix is raising their prices. Another attribution. Inflation. Gas prices are rising. The price per product at your local store will probably cost $1 extra than what it normally costs, folks. So just be wary of that out there. That, my friend, is called inflation. So when prices continue to go and there's insufficient demand, meaning when there's more than enough demand and there's a lack of supply, of course, the price of that particular product will probably be worth a little bit more than what it once was paid. What it once normally used to cost. Now that's called the GDP, the gross. Oh man, I'm getting too technical here. Long story short, Netflix is raising their prices because of inflation too. So they're adjusting their prices for inflationary prices because as the consumer will eventually consume more and spend more on things. And to answer your question, Netflix will never probably go out of business because the thing is that their model is so well foolproof. They have people hooked on so many shows and events. And they have really pretty funny comedy sketches as well for the Netflix as a joke. Like they're running their whole Netflix is running so many different campaigns. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you got other streaming like Stan, Hulu TV as well. Yeah, crazy world out there.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. I mean, that's just the world we live in. We're consumers, and there's obviously producers, and those producers supply us stuff that we can use to our advantage as the consumer. So, supply and demand, my friend. Supply and demand.
But see, if you're in a situation where you can't afford internet, you just have to get a DVD. Because I still got DVDs. I'll still go buy them at those exchange places. If I get a bargain, I'll get a DVD.
So you would get a DVD player, and you would get a DVD.
Yeah, well, my TV's got a DVD player in it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm a bit old-fashioned.
Well, if that works for you, that's what works for you. I can understand. I would, it wouldn't surprise me if Redbox is still around.
What's Redbox?
Oh crap! I forgot you. So in the U.S. we have this thing called we have this thing called a Redbox. So like it's not as prominent as it once used to be, but it still is out there. For anybody that knows what I'm talking about, please, for the love of God, show some kind of an emoticon down there, so I don't sound crazy. But no, Redbox is basically when you go to think of it like a vending machine for movies. You walk up to it and you just
you rent a movie out of it. Yeah, we still got a couple of them in Australia. Video Easy. You remember Blockbuster? Used to be a franchise.
Yes.
They're not around anymore.
They are not.
Yeah, what happened?
They went bankrupt. They were like, oh shit, Netflix is coming about. Well, time to pack up, folks. Kind of like Circuit City happened when Best Buy became more popular. They sold primarily electronics and stuff, and then when Best Buy was like, oh, well, we're better at our marketing than you are, and then Circuit City was like, oh crap, well, I'm bankrupt. So it's all about management at the end of the day. I mean, there's going to be different types of businesses and avenues.
Well, see, Netflix started off the same way as Blockbuster. You could rent a movie, send it in the mail, and then you'd mail it back.
I know, but they beat them to the campaign. That's the thing. That's the only difference is because it became more popular. Netflix was like, you know what, guys? We need to ramp up production. We're going to go electronic, guys. So that's what happened.
Netflix was around in the United States way before we had it in Australia. How long have you guys had it in the US?
That's a beautiful question. Let me. You said you've had it in Australia for how long?
6-7 years. You guys had it before us.
Oh crap! 6-7 years.
Roughly, yeah. Well, at least I can remember. And stand like Spotify. Spotify goes back to 2006 is when they started.
So Netflix was created in. It was launched in August 29th, 1997.
Shit.
So a year before me. I was born in 98, so Netflix has been around for roughly 24 years.
But they just weren't as big as they are now, eh?
Yes, it took a lot of what you mentioned, campaigning over red boxes, or just perhaps just selling on raw DVDs, to versus saying, you know what, screw you, Blockbuster, we're gonna
Yeah.
go digital, because that's where the world is heading. They took advantage of the opportunity of the fact that the world was headed towards a digital age. They just beat them to the punch.
I remember as a kid, Malcolm, we'd probably go once a week to Blockbuster, rent a movie, probably get some popcorn, and then you'd give them back after a week. You'd pay about $5 to rent a movie.
Gotcha.
So I just go to my local library, and if they got a DVD or a movie that I want to watch, I'll borrow it and I'll return it after a week. Because sometimes Disney Plus doesn't have all the shows, that's the problem with streaming. Like, if they don't have a contract with a certain show, then you can't watch it.
Wait, where are you from again?
Australia, Sydney.
Okay, so I just have to say this. One thing that I have learned, I haven't seen and witnessed myself, but I've heard from other people, is that another thing is that you guys have a whole different catalog of movies and stuff for your version of Netflix in your country than we do.
Exactly. Like, if I put a VPN, virtual private network, set it to the United States, I'll get all the United States movies on my Netflix.
That's one thing I just found out recently. I was like, holy crap, so you guys have a different kind of Netflix? They're like, yeah. I'm like, I would ask, like, have you seen You on Netflix? They're like, what the heck is You? I'm like, oh, Lord, okay.
Yeah. But Disney Plus, like, I prefer Disney Plus.
I'm sure that there are a lot of great things on Disney Plus. I haven't taken the chance to look through it myself, but I can only imagine it probably, from what I've seen, has quite a lot to offer, because I think they have a handful of Marvel and other program, or just other things on there, right?
The Clone Wars. I've been watching The Simpsons, the new season I think 23 or something of The Simpsons.
Oh, nice.
American Dad, Brickleberry. That was funny as hell. I couldn't stop laughing. I was laughing to the point I was going to cry, dude.
Wow.
And Sons of Anarchy's on Disney Plus now. That's a good show. I've seen all the seasons of Sons of Anarchy. That's like holy shit. That's crazy stuff, dude.
Must be that good, man. You're toting about it like the best thing in town. I got to hear about it now. I must actually give it a watch and see what it's about.
Yeah, you remember Game of Thrones?
I have heard of it. I have never seen it myself.
It's like one of those series, like a soap opera. Well, shit, the end of the season. This character's died. Oh no, what's happening next for season 3 sort of thing. Get you hooked on it.
Oh, okay, so it leaves on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Does the last episode leave on a cliffhanger as well?
The last episode of Sons of Anarchy, you kind of knew it was time to end. I won't spoil it for you. But you got to watch from season 1 to I think season 8 to really understand the story of what's going on.
Oh wow, 8 seasons. Okay.
Yeah.
How long are each episode?
30, 40 minutes roughly.
And how many episodes are in each season?
10 or 12. It's been about a year since I've seen it, but just check it out if you can.
Okay, just curious. All right, that's great. We immediately derailed from the main topic of discussion.
That's what I love about my show.
I think I admire that too. Plus, this was a very proactive conversation too, as well.
This was awesome. But we'll go back, like Microsoft, for instance. Now, we'll get to the conclusion with Microsoft. Activision has had problems with employees having sexual harassment too. Did you know that?
Oh, every business does.
Shit.
That's not surprising. Well, I mean, it's surprising that it's coming out now, but this kind of stuff, this kind of culture has been around as long as a business, since a business's inceptions. Airbnb, one of the biggest businesses out there that experienced, sexual scrutiny, sexual harassment. Google, amongst one of those corporations as well. A lot of toxicity there, sexual harassment claims. And hearing about it from this angle, it doesn't really surprise me. It's sad enough to say that it still happens everywhere, but like, it makes it's a bad PR. It's extremely bad PR for the company.
Yeah, these companies have got a lot of money with their investors too.
If you get assaulted, they don't care about you. They'll say, "Oh, we're extremely sorry. We'll give you $1 million settlement and don't say anything about this to any people." Like, what? No, it means you don't care about what's happened to me. Like, come on. But
yeah, and that's a shame. That
people
really
take
is
the
a
settlement
shame.
anyways too.
You know, what's Bill Gates? How come Bill Gates is not stepping down in Microsoft and stopping all this? He founded this company.
Wait, you said why is he not stepping down?
No, sorry. Why is he not doing anything about all these problems? Yet he's founded Microsoft.
It's because he has people that handles those problems for him.
Oh. It's like Steve Jobs got sacked from Apple, and he got sacked from his own company.
Yeah, kind of like Elon Musk kind of ruined his PR for his company.
Did he? What did he?
He smoked weed.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan, eh?
Yeah, right? He smoked weed on Joe Rogan, and then the company was like, "Ooh, you're not really making us look good." So he stepped in.
But that was funny.
It was funny, but it still was a bad PR move nonetheless. I was just equating that to what you asked.
Oh, public relations.
Yes, PR.
That was funny, eh? Elon Musk was high on Joe Rogan talking about space.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan. He smokes weed on his podcast, you know.
I do indeed know. I don't watch.
See, how does it?
I've come to find.
How does he get away with it? And yet he's commentating the UFC.
It's because of influence. He has enough influence. I'm telling you, man, it's all connected, man. It's influence.
That's what it is.
He's clearly influencing the right people. To stay where he is. So.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg was on his show.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg's awesome.
He is pretty great guy.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally.
Snoop Dogg smoked weed pretty much all his life.
I would say so.
Except if he's going to other countries, well, different countries it's illegal, so then he can't. But he'll just go on Joe Rogan, he'll smoke weed, and they'll just smoking weed and talking and getting high.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel good.
Good. Very good.
And they're just like high and they're just laughing their heads off.
It's a form of entertainment.
It is entertainment. It shouldn't damage Elon Musk's public relations. Like, come on, he's not breaking the law.
Who knows what state he was in at the time? Ooh.
I think he was in Texas. Joe Rogan's in Texas now. He's not in LA anymore.
Oh, I was just joking. I was just saying, like that. Yeah, it shouldn't have diminished his credibility in the company or his influence. But he did lose a lot of from that. He lost, or at least was on the brink of losing, a lot of wealthier investors in his business. And people were like, "Yo, if he don't step down, then I'm not going to work with you guys." Simple as that. Mm-hmm. We're all about green energy here, and he's smoking it. Like,
weed is green energy. It's natural.
I'm just saying, he probably impacted the wrong person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. That's Joe Rogan for you.
Well, I will say, yeah, we've had a proactive discussion today. Stephen,
Oh, this is awesome.
Always honored to be on your show.
Thanks so much for coming on, Malcolm, and take care and stay safe as well.
You as well, man. I look forward to another discussion, and pop in on my talk sometimes. I won't give you as much as a hard time, I promise.
I will, dude.
All right, man.
You too. Peace out. Bye. That was an awesome show. It's probably one of the best podcasts I've had with Malcolm and Wisdom. Guys, I've got to wrap it up right now. I'd like to thank all my listeners for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe to the Stephen Shields radio show, wherever you get your podcasts. Please share any of your favourite episodes on your social media. Bye for now.